In this video, I will be looking at how you can use cascading style sheet to change the appearance of your web application. I know some of you are very smart people who have been thinking about themes and why we are using the skin files. I mean, CSS is usually the best way to, is usually the best options to use. The skin file can be used to change the appearance of your control, but the CSS can be used to change the appearance of your controls, some of your controls, and also the HTML tags. For example, if we want to modify the appearance of the H1 tag, the heading tag, then it's best to use the CSS in this case. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you how you can combine both the skin files and the CSS to modify the look and feel of your website. I've taken the liberty to create an entire new application here because the last application is getting bloated. So I've added a theme file, a theme folder, and I've created this blue control. So I only had the definition for the text box and the button, and also I created the green controls. The only difference is the back color, which I've changed to green here and light green there, and so for example, let's see if we check what the blue theme looks like. This is the current look of our web application, which has no theme applied. So if I change to the source view and had if I had a theme to be theme equals to blue theme, if we preview that, we get the blue theme. And because the reason why I'm showing you this is because in the next video I'm going to be showing you how to apply these two themes dynamically. As you can see, now we have the blue theme. Now if I changed to green theme here, we can see that we have the green theme applied to our controls. So now let's look at how you can use CSS to modify. Like you can see, now we have the because before I show you the source code of our web page, I'm going to create a cascading style sheet in this blue theme style sheet. I'll just leave the name as it is, as default name, and I'm going to add two styles in here. I'm going to change the background color of the background color. I'm going to change it to silver of the HTML document itself, and no, that's all I'm going to do. And I'm going to include only another option, another style, which is for the input, and that's going to be background color. I'll change the background color of the input. Don't worry if you don't know what the input is. Now I'll show you. I'll change that to let's change that to what color? Yellow. There, let's use yellow this time. And border, you get the IntelliSense to help you in this case as well, so you don't have to worry about if you can remember everything. Let me use solid 2 pixels, and color is black. So what I'm trying to do is, instead of using a style, so I'm going to remove the style from our web page. Let's go back to our default.aspx, and I'm going to remove this theme at the top. Yes, let me just remove the theme for the time being. So right now we're not applying any theme to our web page. So if we look at let me go back to the CSS, and okay, so just like I said, I don't know if I've told you before, if you see this asterisk on top of your top of the window, it means it has not been saved. So if I click on the save button, it disappears. Okay, so if we run our application now, we can see that there's no appearance, there's no CSS. There's no CSS or skin file being applied to this page at the moment. So what we can do is now apply this CSS style sheet. How do you do that? If you go to your default.aspx, inside the heading tag, and you have to place your CSS link inside your heading tag. That would be if you're linking to a CSS file. So all you have to do is just drag this inside your head page. So just drag and drop it, and as you can see, it has created a nice reference for us inside the reference in the link tag. So right now our application is actually being linked to this CSS file. So if you know CSS very well, you can just write all your CSS here, and you'll be good to go. So now if we go back to our default ASPX, let's save it and let's run the application. We will see that this has been applied to our page, and as you can see, we did not reference anything like button. As you see, we have the page has been turned to silver, and the label has a yellow background and the button has a yellow background. But why do they have a yellow background, even though we didn't mention anything like a button or a text box? So I'll show you. If we go to the source code, you can see that the ASP.NET server renders button, as you know, as input, and as you can see, it says input type equals to submit, name equals to button 1, value equals to button. As you can see, same thing for text box. So input, name equals to text box, type equals to text, ID equals to. So that means if you know what the HTML is going to render your control has, if you know what the server renders the controls. So for example, let's try drag and drop a calendar onto our page. So let's imagine that we don't have, let's cut this part. Let's imagine that we don't have this in there, and we just put a calendar on our page. So if we have a calendar there, let's run our application and see what a calendar is rendered as. If we know what a calendar is rendered as, so that's a calendar. Now if you go to the source view, we should see that the calendar is rendered as a table. As you can see, this whole garbage we have a table here, ID equals to calendar 1. So that means you have all these table tag, you see, table and table row, table header, and all those. We have a lot of JavaScript going on inside this table, and you see at the end is a table that is being closed. So that is what represents. So a table is what represents our. So that means you can use the table. You can use the table style in your style sheet and use that to modify the calendar. So you can have a calendar table class or ID that you can use to modify the calendar how it's being rendered to the user interface. So if you ask me which one is the best option to use a CSS or to use a skin file, I would say the best answer is to use both. Usually what I do is I use the skin file to control things like calendar. Things like calendar usually use any controls that is being provided by Microsoft. I'll usually use the skin file to modify the look and feel, because it's easy for me to do, because I'm not very good at CSS. But all other tags like h1 tag, link tags, and all the anchor text. What else, like the div tags? I usually, the div tags, all those things that are very, very obvious, that is everyday HTML that I'll be writing inside my ASP.NET application. I use the CSS to modify those, and I use the skin file to modify things like text box and buttons. But be aware that if your skin file is very large, it's going to have an impact on the performance of your application. So you want to make sure that you use the skin file very less. So if you know your CSS, if you don't know CSS, if you drop me a line, I'll teach you a little bit of even though I said I'm not really good at it. But I'm sure I still know CSS more than some people. So just drop me a line and we'll look into doing some CSS tutorials. Thank you.